Chris Markwood, Maine head coach, another guy that you are friends with from the Boston College days. Like it's I don't know how many times I'm going to have to listen to you talk about Al Skinner and this coaching staff and how great they are. Chris, what's going on, man? We have your biggest fan here, Jeff Goodman.
Can't hear anything right now.
We're trying to get Chris so he can hear our audio now. But yeah, listen, Chris is one of those guys that I've said a rising star in this business. Wasn't too hard to figure that out years ago when he was an assistant, and what he's done at Maine so far has been absolutely ridiculous. 28 wins in a 2-year span. That's the most they've won in 2 years, Rob, since 2009 to 2011. Chris, can you hear us?
I can. Great to see you guys.
He's here. All right. What's going on, man? I was saying that we have your biggest fan, Jeff Goodman, here.
Me and Jeff, I've known Jeff a while. I've been very fortunate to know him over the years living down in Boston. So,
fortunate is not the word that I would use.
How about this? So, in 2 weeks from today, Chris, you will head to Durham, North Carolina, and you will face the Duke Blue Devils in what is going to be a complete circus because of a kid named Cooper Flagg, who, oh, by the way, hails from Maine. The whole family does. I think they moved out of Maine recently, a year or so ago, because, like me, they couldn't take the winters anymore. What is that going to be like? Because, again, I love the matchup, right? Maine playing Cooper Flagg in his college debut. It couldn't be better than that.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, I do think there's going to be a great buzz. It's going to be an electric atmosphere with Cooper's first home game at Duke against, his mother's alma mater, and just a place that, he grew up coming to games at Maine, and they're from 30 minutes south of our campus, so they know our school really well. There's a unique relationship there. So a lot of people from our state will be down there rooting for both sides, I'm sure. It's going to be a great opportunity for us, and like you said, just a great atmosphere. Anytime you go into that arena, you kind of know what it's going to be. But I think there's a little added energy coming with the whole Cooper situation.
How do you stop him, Chris? What's the scouting report? You've seen him play a ton. Go ahead, Give me the scouting report. How to stop Cooper Flagg?
Yeah, hard to do. Obviously, I've watched him play since I got the job up here, since he was 15. Just a tremendous talent. Does a lot of things really well, and I think that's what makes him great. There's really not a lot of holes in his game. Everybody wants to talk about his shooting. I do think he's going to show this year that that's going to be on another level as well. But I think first and foremost with him, he's dynamic in transition. He's dynamic with the ball in his hands, getting downhill. So as best as you can, you got to try to keep him out of the paint. Keep a body in front of him in the rim and make him be a facilitator, which he's really good at too. But it's going to be a hard task for us. It's going to be a hard task for everybody this year. We haven't really dove into that scout as much yet, but we'll get there here soon.
I do like, Jeff, how the very first question on America East Media Day, where we're talking about a guy that finished tied for fourth in the league last year, is about the hometown kid that didn't stay home. Like, it's just rub it in his face. That's why you've been such good friends with Jeff Goodman for this long. Let me ask you this, Chris. You got Kellen Tynes coming back, 2-time America East Defensive Player of the Year. Where has he gotten better? Where have you developed his game on the offensive end this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think offensively he's gotten incrementally better every year. Obviously he's great with the ball in his hands in terms of making plays for himself off the bounce or his teammates. I think, he's a very underrated passer. He's been right around 4 assists a game for us both years he's played for us. But I think, the big steps that he has to continue to make is, can he consistently make shots from the 3-point line and stretch defenses? And once he's able to do that, I think he becomes really hard to guard because of how quick he is off the bounce and the decision making that comes with him when he does get in the paint. And he's worked really hard at it. He's in there every day. He's the leader one of the key leaders to our group, and he definitely leads by example. So excited to see a jump for him there. But I think also in terms of leadership is a big continuing to be a big area of growth for him. I mean, he's always been a tremendous leader naturally. But I just think heading into year 3, he's really ready to kind of really steer the ship with this group. And, he plays with an edge. It's who he is as a person. And our team definitely needs to continue to take on that identity.
I mean, I love the complexion of this team. I like it because, again, you brought back, basically 6 of your top 8 guys, right? You add a few transfers, you add a few freshmen that you're going to hope to, build and retain. I mean, is this kind of the blueprint for what? And I know you didn't, Peter leaving to go to New Mexico State, you would have loved to retain him as well, but nobody can keep everybody these days. Is this kind of the way you want to do it in the future in this day and age of college hoops?
Yeah, definitely. I've been very consistent on that. I know some people are going all the way in on the transfer portal, and it's going to be different for everybody. I think here at Maine, every school is a unique situation, and you got to kind of do it a certain way. I think for us, a mixture of a little bit of everything is going to be how we have to do it. I still want to recruit high school kids, and we basically brought in at minimum 2 freshmen a year. We'll continue to do that for the stability of the program, and try to develop those guys through their time here, and hopefully get better. But also, finding the right fits in the transfer portal. And we've been able to do that really every year. Really excited about the 3 guys that we got coming in this year too. I think they're going to be really good fits for us in what we're trying to do. But I like the group. I like the roster makeup. I think it brings good depth for us and really good versatility. And I think we have an opportunity to kind of, hurt people in different ways this year, more so than we have our first 2 years. But you said it. I think it's all going to start with our core returning guys. Those 6 guys that you mentioned. Losing Pete Filipovich and Christian Freibergs were 2 big pieces for us the last 2 years. And Jashante Wright McLeish is another guy who started for us my first 2 years here. Like, all those guys were very good for us our first 2 years. And we had to fill those spots, but we like the guys that have come in and think that they'll be able to kind of hit the ground running with our program.
You talk a little bit about retention. Who are some of the guys that are coming back that have maybe impressed you in this offseason? Who got better? Who do we need to kind of circle on the roster right now?
Yeah, we talked about Kel. I think our 2 guards are, really our foundational pieces and have been. Kellen Tynes and Jaden Clayton, both those guys have just continued to get better each year they've been here. I think we've talked about Kel already, so I'll talk about Jaden. I think he's one that has just really consistently shown growth each year, and I'm really excited about what he's going to bring to the table as a junior. He took major strides last year in terms of just his overall game, defensive side of the basketball. Offensively, I think he's, in his first 2 years, he's led our league in total assists the last 2 years. So that's kind of what he does. High IQ, great facilitator, great creator for others. But I think offensively last year, he took a big jump. And once we got in the league, shot the ball, very consistently from 3 and as well as in the mid-range. So I think you're going to see another jump from him. Excited about that. His leadership is a big part of it for us too, along with Kel. And then I think the 2 wings that transferred into us last year, AJ Lopez and Keon Burns, they're 2 long, really talented offensive players that both showed great stretches for us last year and throughout the year. AJ was playing really well for us in the non-conference before he ended up dislocating his shoulder and missed about a 5-week stretch leading into Christmas, which kind of set him back. But he was playing great before he got hurt, and we were playing well as a team at the time. And then Keon Burns was a guy that had really good stretches too, and finished the year averaging in 18 minutes a game, averaged 13 points a game, shot over 40 from 3 in our last 6 games of the regular season. So he really finished the year playing really strong, and he's a very talented 6'6", 6'7" wing too. So those 2 guys, I think, internally are going to make major jumps, not only because they've worked really hard on their game, but as you guys know, you need opportunity to do that. And this year, they're more prepared to be consistent on both sides of the ball, which is going to allow them to be out there more. I think they're going to play big roles, play a lot of minutes, and with that, you're going to see them shine. So excited about them. And I think we have some other guys that, internally that people don't know much about, that have gotten better. A kid like Logan Carey was a freshman for us last year, played a small role, but is going to play a bigger role this year. He's very similar to the other guards that we have, quick, athletic, can play off the bounce and get in the lane, two-way guard. I'm excited about him. He would be the one probably that a lot of people have maybe seen a little bit but don't know a lot about. And then we got some other guys that haven't played much that I think are going to actually play big roles. A kid like Keelan Steele, who's been in our program for 2 years but has had 2 foot surgeries and had to redshirt for 2 years. He's coming at the 5 spot. He's had a very productive preseason for us, and I'm expecting big things from him. So there's a bunch of guys there that we're excited about, but as you guys know, until the lights go on, you're not quite sure what you're going to get from some of those young guys.
All right, I want to play a little comparison game here with you, Chris. You played at Maine, and you graduated. You scored 303 points in your career. You also shot 32% from three. You were 38 for 120 in your college career. So you made 38 threes and scored 303 points. Somebody else in your household scored 1,195 points and made 131 threes. That was your wife, Ashley. So
yeah.
Who's the better shooter in the family?
Definitely different pass there. As you're throwing out those numbers, Jeff, I mean, I only played about 1.5 years in college, so let's.
Well, we don't need to make it fair. We don't need to make this thing fair here.
Definitely, my wife. She'll be the first one to tell you that too. But no, she had a great career, as you said, and we're definitely a basketball family. But she had a tremendous career. Went to the NCAA tournament, scored over 1,000 points. Was a great shooter and player here, and as a college coach, it's obviously amazing to have a basketball wife in the house that kind of understands what we're going through.
Hey, was she really on Survivor? Right. Was she on Survivor years ago?
Yeah, she was. She did a lot of unique things coming out of college, and ended up doing Survivor. I think it was my last year here as an assistant at Maine that she was on the show and finished 4th, was really close to making it to the finale. So, yeah.
Cool.
Last one I got for you, Chris, is you spent 3 seasons on staff at Vermont. What is it about that program that has allowed them to kind of have the sustained success that they've had? And how do you get Maine to that, maybe not to 8 straight regular season championships level, but how do you get them up to that level, the same level that Vermont is at right now?
Yeah, I mean, I was very blessed to have an opportunity to go there. When Coach Becker got the job, he gave me a call and asked me to come within league, and it was a hard decision at the time, but I think really helped change the trajectory of my career, and played a big part in my career. And he's a close friend and mentor still to this day. But I think what their program starts with is the people, and I've really tried to stress that here at Maine. I mean, and since I've been there, I can't speak for all the teams before I was there, but I know Coach Brennan did it the same way. The type of people that they attract and recruit there, just high character, hardworking, good people, good families that they've kind of built their program on over the years. And then from there, there's been a lot of stability with Coach Becker, obviously being there as long as he's been, but also him transitioning from Coach Lonergan's staff. Coach Lonergan had a great run at Vermont, and really coached up that group hard, and they won a lot of games. And Coach Becker took a lot of that accountability and toughness that had kind of been built in the program when he was there as an assistant. He brought that on and then kind of threw his own spin. I mean, you guys know JB, he's a tremendous person, just a really genuine guy. I think the relationships that he builds with his guys allows him to really, coach them hard and hold them accountable. And everybody that comes into that program understands that when they show up. And to me, that's kind of been the secret sauce: the people, the accountability and the standards that they set. Don't really let those guys fall short of that. And I think for us at Maine, I think it's, the run that they're on is historical. It's not easy to do, but I think for us, if we're to get there, it's going to be built on those same pillars, around really good people, that really want to embrace what we're about here at Maine. And then developing within. I think that's been a big part of Vermont's thing. They've retained their guys, even in this new landscape. JB hasn't lost his guys. His key guys have stayed. Going back to Anthony Lamb, who could have went anywhere, So I think a lot of it is that the relationship piece, the type of people you're bringing in, and then the standards and how you hold them accountable to that is kind of what's driven that program and what obviously we're trying to do here at Maine as well.
Hey, have you seen Becker in this band? Like, was he in this band back when you were an assistant for him? Is he a decent drummer or no?
I think I know a lot of the guys that he gets down with in this band, but they hadn't really formed a group yet. But yeah, JB's always he's got an eclectic side that he kind of keeps on the low a little bit. That us that are close with him kind of knows that's there. But again, I think that's what's great about him and kind of what makes him unique is just the person that he is, and that's definitely one piece to him. Yeah, I know they have a lot of fun with it.
Well, listen, Chris, it's great to catch up, man. It's good to see you. Best of luck this season. We'll be rooting for you guys down there in Maine. And again, I apologize for Goodman. The first thing he says to you is, "Hey, remember that kid from Maine that you couldn't get?"
Yeah, he's not the first, Rob. He's not the first, and he definitely won't be the last here over the next couple of weeks. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
We appreciate the time, man.
Appreciate it, guys.